Alison Rosen. Alison Rosen is your new best friend. Alison, with her the good times never end. Alison Rosen, doing the wavy pencil dance again. Alison Rosen. Alison's your new best friend.
Hey everyone. Hi. Hello. Welcome to another exciting episode of Alison Rosen is your new best friend. I am sitting here in my studio with your husband and mine, Daniel Quantz. Hello.
Hi.
How goes it?
I goes good.
Good. You are wearing a denim jacket with an Eat a Bag of Dicks pin. A wonderful throwback.
I was surprised that this was on this denim jacket because I don't recall wearing this jacket back in the days when I was
eating bags of dicks.
Yes, when I was when I was selling these pins. So
are the pins still for sale?
No.
We got to bring them back.
I do have some.
It's a whole thing.
It was fun to sell things, but I'm so bad at fulfillment, and it's just such a pain in the tuchus.
Yeah.
Tuchai.
So, my merch is with Fourth Wall now. That's the company that sells it. And they do like print on demand stuff. So there's a lot of different options.
They only do, we can't send them, I couldn't send them a batch of.
We could actually.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I had always intended to do that with some t-shirts that I have left and with the pins. We just never did. But wait a minute. I feel like we sent them. This is such a good on-air conversation.
Yeah.
I'm sure they're like, yes, let me be a fly on a wall for the world's most boring planning conversation. But I think we uploaded that design so they could make their own bag of dicks things, like stickers maybe. Anyway, check it out, everyone. Check out our merch situation. It's an experiment. The merch experiment.
Have we talked about how Owen wants to sell merch?
Oh my God, we haven't. No, you didn't want them to know that he is an up and coming YouTuber. He wants a logo.
He was
merch.
like, one day he was just like, he wanted to create merch.
Yeah.
So we were like making stuff, and I thought it was just like a fun little project. I forgot what it was. It was like we were making.
Wasn't it the little doll?
Yeah, we're making. Oh yeah. He had
on
designed this doll on.
That looks like him.
It was so good.
Yeah.
And so he wanted me to print it out, and then I stuffed it with cotton. We made a little thing, and then he was like, "Okay, now how do we manufacture these for people?"
Well, and then when he found out I had merch, he asked. He's like, it's the kind of thing where he's too smart, because he's like, how do you let people know that you have it? He wants to know. He's already into the like PR of it all.
He is 6.
How do you get the word out?
He's 6. I know. I said you can't help but like project this forward and wonder, where is this going?
Where is it going? Do you think?
I don't know, but like, where is he at 22 with all of this?
Well, so both of our children.
He's here at 6.
Both of our children want to be YouTubers right now. This is what I'm hoping. I'm hoping the YouTuber part falls away.
Yeah.
And what they want to do on YouTube is the thing. Because Owen wants to make space videos on YouTube. And then I forget what Elliot. Elliot wants to be a performer, I think. So that makes sense.
But I mean, let's be honest. In 10 years, you can't possibly know. Like YouTube may not even be YouTube in 10 years.
Well, right, but they want the clicks, they want the likes, they want the engagement, they want the comments.
That scares the shit out
of
me. There was this game that Elliot was playing. I'll just say what it is because no one can find him or anything. It's this Hot Wheels game, and you can design your own racetracks and then make them publicly available. And I swear the game must like make it so that you get automatic likes or something because
right, because you upload it and a second later you have likes.
I don't know if it was a second later, but like he did it. It was a cool track, but it's hard not to make a cool track because you're just piecing together ready-made tracks.
I could make a not cool track.
It's kind of a cool game in that it's like imagine Mario Kart, but everything is customized, so you make your own tracks. It's neat. But anyway, he was like, I just got 200 likes, and he was like dancing and giddy about it. And I was like,
wow.
Oh shit.
They're the same as us.
They're just, I know, but it's
too young for it because we didn't have that.
You just read about what this does to teenagers.
I just had a sticker club, and hopefully people want to trade my stickers.
You read about what this social media stuff does to their brains and stuff. It's just really.
What does it do? Does it curdle them?
chasing likes is just like not a good thing for the developing brain.
I saw something, Greg Heller's wife posted it actually, and she is a therapist, that having a kid watch a movie with a friend or with another kid is actually really good for their brain, because something that's longer than 30 minutes, it doesn't stimulate the something response, like the dopamine response, basically. And I forget the whole thing, but it was just, it's funny though, because past generations are like, TV rots your brain. But now they're saying that a fixed screen, when it's not interactive, is good for your brain. Or maybe it's just better. No, it's good for your brain, is what they said.
Yeah. It does worry me, but what are you going to do?
What are you going to do?
Anyway.
Can I tell you about an uncomfortably yucky experience I had yesterday, which I talked about it a little bit with you, and then I said, we've got to bring this up on the show. Now, thankfully, you know how sometimes you go to bed and you feel like you're covered in emotional vomit and yuck, and you're like, I hope I wake up cleansed, but you wake up still in it. Do you have any of this?
That doesn't usually happen to me.
Which part doesn't happen to you?
I can't remember the last time I went to bed with emotional yucky covering me.
Let me rephrase. You know how sometimes something's bothering you and you go to bed thinking, I hope that I do not wake up still thinking about this?
Sure, I know that.
Yeah. So that has happened a lot throughout this estate process. And usually at 4 a.m, I'll wake up and it'll be instantly on my mind and I'll be tossing and turning. And I'm like, I guess the sweet sands of sleep didn't wipe this from my slate, because here I am, drafting emails in my mind and tossing and turning. So thankfully, this particular pile of vomit, I did not wake up still munching on. That's disgusting. Okay, so let me back up. We took the jewelry to get verbally appraised, which is a faster like an actual appraisal is a very lengthy, expensive process. And when you're dealing with like all this estate jewelry, it didn't make sense to do that, but we got verbal appraisals for all of it. However, I have a question now about a particular piece where we received an appraisal that isn't quite consistent with the other. That doesn't really matter. So I was like, I should call the appraiser. That my gut was saying, just call him. He seems more like a phone guy, even though I've been on the phone with him, I've texted with him, and I've emailed with him. But I was like, just call him. However, I know I'm going to need to send a picture of the jewelry piece again, because he's not going to remember it if I just remind him. So I'm like, it was 6:30 p.m. I wanted to put this task to bed, meaning find out the answer. I felt like 6:30 is a little aggressive to call someone. Maybe it's not. I don't know. So I'm just going to text him. So I text him and I'm like, hey, I wanted to, so we have a text chain. Now it was like 5 or 6 weeks ago that I did see him originally, but I saw him twice. It was 2 appointments. So I text him and I say, hi, name, wanted to ask you a question about this ring. I'll include a pic to jog your memory. You gave us but we're wondering this, for what it's worth, a few of these things are missing on it. And then I send him a picture of the ring where I'm holding it and a picture of the ring where it's on my finger. And then he writes back, who is this? And I say, oh, sorry, this is Alison Rosen. I brought jewelry to you in mid-March for verbal appraisals. My sister joined us on Zoom. He said, okay, why are you sending me photos? Now, at this point, I want to die. And I said, did my question not come through? I sent the photos so you would know the piece I had a question about. And then he called me. And I was about to call him, but it's funny in the retelling. I don't feel as horrendously yucky about it as I did yesterday, but he was a little bit like, you have to understand, I see 1,000 pieces every minute. And, and it's just like, this person's like sending me jewelry pictures and blah, blah, blah. And then also I didn't tell I said that, initially we were planning to sell this piece, but we've since decided to keep it. And he's like, oh, well, so then why do you need to know the estimate? And I'm like, for equitable distribution. But a little bit, I don't know. I just felt this like weird, almost like I felt put on the defensive a number of times.
Yeah.
And then at the end, I was like, sorry again about the weird text, but like he hung up in the middle of my sorry. And then he wrote back, he's like, I cut you off, no worries, smiley face.
Well, it sounded like he was cool, he wasn't. You just don't like it when it's that feeling of someone not knowing who you are and then treating you like you're intruding in there.
I mean, as opposed to other people who love that vibe.
No, but I don't think everyone is quite so shook by it. Not everyone is quite. You were like, you couldn't shake the feeling.
I couldn't.
Of
I felt
yuck.
it all evening.
Yeah, all night.
All evening. I was like, God, I knew I should have just called him. I should have just called him. He was a call guy, not a text guy.
Because, like, who gives a shit?
I know.
He's just a fucking jewelry appraiser. Like,
well,
they're not real people.
He told me I was a rock star more than once. Yeah. In person, he told me, he's like, I just have to tell you how well you're handling this experience because I wasn't getting emotional about it. You're a rock star. You're doing great. You're a rock star. And now the rock star is calling. No, sorry. The rock star is texting and he's treating me like I'm some rando weirdo who doesn't.
You thought you had something. You thought you had a connection.
Yeah.
Like this was your guy.
I used his bathroom twice.
I mean, you don't use anyone's bathroom twice.
I use everyone's bathroom
except
thrice.
if it's Costco.
Yeah, I do use the bathroom often. Look, they're in Culver City, but it's just weird. That's all I'm saying.
Well,
but you know what? I don't. I really don't, and I need to work on this. I have realized that probably like when I think of an emotion, like the hottest, most yucky emotion that you don't want to feel. When I go back through my life, humiliation is the one that I am the least. The feeling of humiliation, I can't tolerate it. I think other people might be able to, maybe certain performers, I don't know, might be able to tolerate it. I mean, no one likes it, but other people might be able to tolerate humiliation better than me. It's like repugnant to me. I can't handle the feeling of humiliation. And I think I felt a little humiliated. And also I felt like I don't want the idea that I'm just some weirdo who doesn't know social cues and is just like sending pictures and being a creep. Ew.
Why is it humiliating?
Yeah, that's a great question.
Thank you.
It's I don't know. This is not really an answer, but it's that thing where you're like, I think that's someone I know, but do I want to risk saying hi to someone who's not the person I know? And I always think to myself, this should be straightforward. Just say hi to them. Because if it's not, who cares? Yeah. But I never do it because the awkward humiliation of like.
But what's humiliating about it?
He thought I was a goober. He was treating me like some goober off the street when I am a rock star. Yeah. Is it ego? Well, it also, I feel like whether intended or not, his texts were aggressive. Who is this? Why are you sending me photos?
That might be.
It was aggressive. I think that's what I was
Sorry about the
to.
Mic action here. I can't get comfortable. Okay.
I think that's what I was reacting to. Because if he had said, I'm so sorry, who is this? Or like, sorry, I can't.
Yeah, I think that's probably more what it is.
I think
it's like the way he came at you.
Yeah, I think so. It's not humiliation. It's that I was like instantly on my heels, like, and I had to like.
He's treating you like you were. He wasn't just treating you like you were someone
he didn't know.
He didn't know. He was bothered by your presence.
Yes, that's my least favorite.
Right. It's like, oh, here I am, all yucky, awkward me. That's how you felt. Like, I'm just.
Excuse me for existing.
Right.
I gave you money.
Yeah.
And you called me a rock. The rock star thing is not really as big
it's
a deal.
It's me, the rock star. That's how you should have said. Remember me, the rock star you met?
Yeah.
You got to let this stuff flow off your back the way water flows off of a duck's back.
I've heard that. I guess. How do I feel about it today? I feel I mean, I did get an answer that I was looking for. So I feel like at least I can cross that task off, and I don't really care. And it's not like my life is going to involve this person, but I feel a little yucky about it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, not to negate your feelings, but
Get over it.
Well, once you accept how utterly meaningless everything is and how your sense of self is just an illusion, and then it's just a joke that this would even matter at all.
I am uncomfortable with discomfort. That is a thing that is not one of my Okay, on the one hand, it has served me because I know how to usually like grease uncomfortable situations.
Mm-hmm.
On the other hand, as an interviewer, if I was comfortable with uncomfortableness or discomfort, it might be better because in general, see how I can't shut up right now? If you just say something and then you just get quiet, the other person will fill the space, but I don't do that often.
That reminds me of something someone memed recently, which was, I'm an introvert and I hate people who are more introverted because they force me to be the extrovert.
Yeah.
And it's like, yes, that dynamic is I hate that.
Yes.
When you're around someone who's like so mousy and quiet that it forces me to have to like fill the and ask all the I hate that.
Well, that's kind of thing you're talking about the certain dads at our school that you're like, I'm just done.
Well, that's a little different in that no, they're actively rude in their like there's this one in particular.
Did we see him the other night?
Yeah, and I just fucking ignored him.
I know. Okay, so I thought
Fuck him, man. Like, how many fucking times have I been so nice and gone out of my fucking way to say hi, and then to be like all, it's like, you know what, dude? No.
So he said hi in a friendly way to me.
I'm sure he's a nice guy.
Were you looking to the left or something? Because you were next to me and I did note, it's that guy. And then he didn't really say hi to you.
Yeah, I'm not saying hi to him ever again.
What?
Fucking ever again.
Okay, but I don't have eyes on the side of my face because I'm not a fish, unfortunately. Or Picasso. I was looking ahead and you were to my left. And he said hi to me. What was your face doing?
I don't know. I was looking down. I think I was looking at Elliot's stuff.
We were walking into the classroom.
Oh, then I didn't see him.
Oh, okay. Because I did note that he didn't say hi to you, and maybe because you weren't meeting his gaze.
Who knows? I probably give off I can accept the fact that I might give off sort of reclusive vibes that make it hard for other introverted types to overcome that icy wall. You know what I mean? I get it. I get that that's the case. So I don't really hate him or these other people, but I don't like that feeling of saying hi to someone and having them just ignore you. Yeah. And so I'm not going to put it out there anymore. Why? And that's a slightly different thing though than the other thing I was talking about, but I guess it's related.
See, and I have something to say that relates to the earlier stuff we were talking about. But it's interesting that you say that you can come off icy because when I first met you, I remember I invited you to something that was at the Corolla warehouse. And you're like, are you sure you want me to come? I think because it was very new that we were dating. And I'm like, yes. And you got there while I was still recording. And you were just chatting it up with everyone. And I was like, this guy can talk to anyone. And you said that's a skill you have because of the boys choir and touring so much.
Interesting.
And having to stay and host
families.
I mean,
I guess so. I do have the ability to it's so funny. I do and I don't. I do have the ability to mix it up with different types of people. Just because I've had to interact with so many different types of people from all over the country. So you can plot me into almost any kind of environment and I can probably get along. That said, I'm a bit, what's the word? I'm
reluctant?
No, I'm not agoraphobic. What is it when you're kind of afraid of other people?
Misanthropic would
I'm
be
a bit
hating.
misanthropic.
Hating other
I'm a
people.
little bit misanthropic. And I don't like that about myself. There's someone I was looking at the other day who's just like, man, that person just is like, just loves everyone and is just like so friendly to everybody and is like curious about other people. And it's like, I want to be that person.
Yes,
but
we all do.
I am not that person. Like, I really have a very like deep resentment of other people. And I know that it's part of the like brokenness. It's because of my childhood and shit. Like, it's not like I wasn't born this way. I was made this way. Society made me this way. But like, it's because of experiences that I've had that I can't like rewire my brain. It's just it's become reflexive. Like, I just see other people so it's something I have to overcome. I'm aware of it enough to where like, if I'm in a situation where it's like, okay, like I have to get along with people, I will push through that, but it's hard. And there are certain circumstances where it's just not worth the effort. And I think like, when I'm picking up the kids in front of the school, other parents, I should, but I'm not going to. I'm not going to do it.
Yeah.
I don't need all those people to be my friends.
Who was the person you were looking at who's genuinely curious about others and talking to everyone?
I can't remember who it was.
People like that are like just a level above in terms of people. They spread joy.
It's really how we all should be. I mean,
I can be that way in short spurts.
The problem is though that it's like there's so many fucking just honest to God assholes, just like true assholes in the world, and they all seem to be in my face all the time. So, and I'm not wrong about that either. I'm like correct about that. So I don't know.
What percentage of people do you think are assholes?
Well, I think the question is, there's the term narcissist that gets thrown around a lot. Mm-hmm. And to the point where it almost doesn't mean anything in a colloquial sense.
Right.
Like, oh, everyone's and people
selfish.
just use it to mean selfish.
Yeah.
And everyone's selfish. So wait, but not everyone's a narcissist.
Right.
But like, if you were to say like, out of every 100 people, how many are like have narcissistic personality disorder, some version of that, like truly like diagnosable, and then how many people have, this disorder or that disorder. And it's going to be like, more than a handful.
Right.
And then you think like percentage wise, how many you run into in a day. And it's like, yeah, you're running into a lot of people who are just straight up fucking like have mental illness or some sort of, not to stigmatize, but like it makes it hard to be in a society with people. It makes it hard to be in a society with people who have do not give a shit about other people.
Right.
So I just think there's like maybe a lot more of them than we realize.
Well, sometimes all of them are in your family.
Honestly, talking about my family for a second.
I was talking about mine, but yeah.
Yeah, like there are a lot in my family. A lot. Like to the point where you're like, is this an inheritable trait?
Right.
Like, it has to be. Well, except that you look at it and you go like, when I identify the people in my family that are like malignant narcissists or just regular ass narcissists, I go like, yeah, but I can look at their childhood and the abuse, and I can see this was. So I was researching this a little bit. Mm-hmm. How much of narcissism is environmental, and how much, and it's like it is an inheritable trait, but that doesn't mean that the person is necessarily gonna become a narcissist, that it's sort of like a 50-50 sort of thing.
So I was raised by narcissists, and I used to be really bad at communicating with people, really bad with them, not great with boundaries now, but really bad with boundaries. Just my conception of how I was supposed to behave in a situation and how other people were supposed to behave in a situation is so different than it is now.
Yeah.
You know, when I was like we've talked about this on the show. I wonder, does everyone feel like they were an absolute nightmare in their 20s? It seems like to some degree they do. But if I was upset with someone, I would get really quiet and I would just give them the silent treatment because I thought that is an appropriate way to handle something. You know, I did not have the wherewithal to just say to someone, hey, this thing bothered me, or can we talk about this? Like that was off the table. So I think that I conducted all of this is to say, I am not a narcissist, but if you're raised by narcissists, you're going to adopt some of their coping strategies until you get your mind unfucked.
Yeah, and your odds of becoming one are so much greater,
right? Because
you're being nurtured in that way. Yeah, it's hard, man. It's like I also wonder if our society has become more narcissistic in a sort of like sociological way, and that what I mean is like I wonder if, you know, back in the day, it's not like there are more narcissists now than before, but it's more like they feel more emboldened to act out their selfishness than they used to. Like it feels, because it just feels like
we might just be more aware of it.
I think
that autism thing.
I think it feels like this because our president's a malignant narcissist. So it's like it sort of defines in a way like who our leadership is.
Yeah.
I don't know. Whatever. It's what were we talking about? Why are we talking about this?
The phone conversation with the jeweler.
I don't know. Just been thinking a lot about it lately.
So, what I was going to say is the thing where someone out-introverts you and then you have to be extroverted in response.
Yes.
You know who Billy Zoom is?
No.
Guitarist for the band X.
Oh, yes.
And he produced the Angora's second album, which we never released.
Right.
But when he is like famously quiet, he is a famously quiet guy who just stands there being quiet. So he came to our studio in Orange County during a rehearsal to watch us. And I had the reaction that you're talking about where I'm like, I will not play this game, Billy Zoom. I will not
fill the silence.
I am going to stay on my side of the street and I'm responsible for my side of the street and you're responsible for your side of the street. And I will not sweep your side with conversation.
Yeah. Because
you are being such a quiet weirdo. I will not make it okay. And I will not do more than I need to. It's weird. If something about it just rubbed me the wrong way and I'm like, you want to be quiet? I'll be quiet too.
Mm-hmm. And so what happened?
I don't know. I wasn't the only one in the band. So other people filled it. But I remember talking to them being like, I just got really quiet. Like, fuck him. Fuck him is too strong. I like him.
You know who I bet does not worry about that at all?
Ooh, let me think about it. Is it an adult?
Mm-hmm.
Is it someone that we know well? No, not Tony. Tony's aware of all this stuff. Someone who doesn't think about that. And it's not Greg Heller because he also would be aware of it. Is it a woman or man?
Woman.
A woman who does it. Jackie Johnson.
I don't know.
Okay. Is it someone who comes on the show?
No.
Okay. It's someone we know in our separate life as parents.
No.
Okay. It's someone on a TV show we watch.
No.
No?
No.
We have our life as parents. We have the shows we watch, and we have my
this wasn't
podcast.
supposed to be a whole thing.
Wait, hang on. What other area of life do we ever encounter anyone? Give me a hint.
Someone from your life.
Yami?
Yes.
Yami is no, she is like,
she would not, I don't believe that it would even bother her in the slightest. She would just
Yami is my friend and she played bass in the Angoras, and I've talked, longtime listeners know, I've said this before. Yami is the kind of person you're talking about who is curious. She spreads joy. She's curious about everyone. She kind of like flirts with everyone, but in a very non-sexual way. But she makes every person feel good about themselves. She has conversations with everyone. She's like the most socially adept person I've ever encountered. Yeah,
and people like that, they're just not. I don't think they worry about that shit. Because
No.
it doesn't bother. I don't think that it's emotional for them. I don't think that it is as emotionally taxing.
No.
Or
but I could
is-
see
and
her
that-
saying, like, come on, man, you're giving me nothing. And like being silly about it and like totally bringing
Or not even emotionally. That's not the word I'm looking for. It's like energy. It's like it's depleting for me. But
Me
I don't think
too.
it's depleting for someone like
yes. And that is, I have tried at times to be the person who makes conversation with strangers.
Yeah.
And it is exhausting
her. It feels
for me.
like, it feels like, oh, now I have to
performance.
sprint for 5 minutes.
Yeah.
I
But
have to
you
just-
enjoyed running.
I don't like sprinting.
Okay.
Anyhow, yeah.
That should be a reality show, a competition. Like everyone knows one of those people in their life.
Introvert house. And it's like, get 20 of the most painfully introverted people
Yeah.
and put them in a house together.
And then watch what happens
And watch
when
it.
nothing happens.
Just crickets.
Yeah. Excuse me, could I borrow that? Never mind.
Just people.
Yeah.
I mean, look, I'm definitely an introvert. I'm an introvert who is trying. I don't know what the fuck. Who cares?
I know what you're going to say because tell me if this is what you're going to say. You're an introvert who thinks it's better to be perceived as an extrovert, so you spent most of your life pushing against your introvert.
No,
Yes, that is what you're saying.
No, I don't know that it's about being perceived as an extrovert.
Oh yeah, no, that's for
I think
lamos.
that I'm an introvert who sees the value of being an extrovert and sort of would want that in a conceptual sense, but when it comes down to where, when the rubber meets the road, I want to be left alone.
Yeah.
Like it's that thing of like, I want to see my friends, but I don't want anyone to bother me. And
Including your own children.
Like, I want to be left the fuck alone. I don't want anyone to see me. I want to be invisible. There's a term for this kind of person. What was it? It's like avoidant
Attachment.
avoidant attachment disorder. Or is it a disorder? Avoidant attachment.
And you it is.
That's what
I
it is.
said a style. But
It's avoidant
yeah.
attachment style, which is
Yeah.
like, I don't want to be seen. I don't want anyone to know where I am or what I'm doing or even bother me. While at the same time, I want to be around my friends and I want to be in the world. And it's like this weird, horrible contradiction where you want both things simultaneously.
Yeah. What I find is the more out I am, the easier it is to be an out person. But once I'm in, it's like, for example, yesterday I went down to my parents' house. Is it still their house? I don't know. The house formerly known as my parents' house, and met with the auction guy. We are in the home stretch, knock on wood. So he's taking stuff that's going to be auctioned. And then Monday, when you hear this, on Monday, we will have given access to the woman who's running the estate sale on Monday. The estate sale is Friday and Saturday. And then we'll probably, after she's done, we'll probably have like one more week with the house. And then we're giving it to the realtor and woohoo, we're
I can't
nearing
fucking wait till this
being
is over.
done. So I went down. I was supposed to be there. He was going to be there at 10:30. My sister texted me like at 10:23, just checking where you are. I'm here. And I said, no, it wasn't 10:23 because I said I'm 13 minutes away. It was 10:19. So I was like, but then I ended up getting there at 10:31 or something. But when I got there, the people from the auction company, and they brought a big van and all these moving supplies and stuff, were already there. And I said, what time did they get here? And she said 10:15. And I said, oh, that's early. And she said, I know, good thing I was here. But you know what I've been wondering about the whole time?
Tell me.
Maybe I'll just make you wait.
No.
I know something and you don't, and you want to know it.
What were you
now.
thinking?
I was thinking, did they acknowledge that they were early?
Oh, yeah.
Because our appointment was for 10:30 and they got there at 10:15. Did they say, we're a little early, or sorry, we're a little early, or hope you're ready for us, we're early? Like there's myriad ways to acknowledge your earliness. It's sort of like when my best friend, Mindy Cohn, arrived at my house for her interview like 30 minutes early, and I'm like, oh, fuck. But then she just went and sat in her car when I told her that, like, oh, yeah, I'm
Still
not quite ready for you.
Just
I'm
got
still
out
in
of the
bed.
bathroom. So just got out of the shower.
Yeah. You know, as someone who does my show from my house, I've often thought, Alison, it would serve you to be ready extra early because occasionally you get a straggler. You get a salmon who swims upstream and arrives early. I prefer on time or late, but occasionally someone's going to show up early thinking that that's more polite. Why must you be pulling that Velcro roller out of your hair right when they show up?
So if you were like a therapist who did therapy out of your house, like you had your therapy office in your house, there would be an entrance and a little waiting area.
Yes, I need that.
That's what you need.
I know.
Maybe we should have like they come in the side gate and then have like a little waiting spot.
On the patio, not the patio, the little deck.
Right.
We could say, come on in.
Wait here.
Take a seat on this thing. Don't step in the bags of dog shit.
Enjoy some Werthers.
Oh, you think we should have a basket of Werthers?
Well, Petey would eat them.
And then, like, nobody's on the other side of the dog gate.
Yeah, there you go.
And then, like, we'll text you. Text us when you're here. Text us when you're in the waiting area. We'll text you when we're ready.
There you go.
I mean, we could do that. And then they're never even coming in the house. And as far as they know, we have a very clean house.
I mean, our house
is a disaster.
It depresses me. So, you know,
it's me too, but it is extra depressing right now because every time I go down to the house formerly known as my parents' house, I bring more shit up and then it sits in we haven't found a place for it yet. So it's all going in the front. We have like a front room. It's like one of those like living room spaces we never use. Correct. And periodically it like someone who has a chronic disease, it flares up. And by that, I mean, it becomes filled with shit.
When we moved in, that's where we put all the boxes and it was literally like floor to ceiling boxes with like a pathway cut through it. And I had to go through it all and like.
Was that pause you thinking about how this is an issue between us that I had forgotten about?
No, but I didn't want to make I didn't want to make it like, you know, like sound like I'm overly bitter about it. It was
nice
let's just
job.
Say but let's just say there was a lot of stuff. It was a lot of work, very stressful.
I had forgotten that this was and is an issue between us that I've had forgotten about till right now.
It's not an issue between us. In
my defense,
it's not an issue
between us. I was pregnant and I'm lazy.
That's what I was trying to avoid, but somehow failed. But anyway, a lot of that stuff ended up in the garage, which is there's
depressing
like no room.
As fuck.
It's just full.
Like I don't want Petey to go into the garage because I'm afraid we'll never get him back.
I mean, it's just a lot of stuff we have to get rid of.
It's a one-car garage.
Yeah, it's a small
with
garage.
2 cars worth of shit in there. Unless you're trying to stalk me, in which case it's a 3-car garage. Sorry.
What has happened now, though, is that while you're bringing all this stuff in from your parents' house, now we have boxes and boxes and boxes full of shit in that front room. And I keep thinking, first of all, it's triggering because it's like, oh no, this is happening again. It's like we're now back to where we started, all that work. And now we have a room full of boxes again. And then I don't know where this shit's going to go because our garage is full. We do not have a house with like hardly any storage space. Like that's a weird thing about our house. We have like barely any storage space in this house. And so we have to be so creative. That's one of the reasons why the house is like a cluttery mess. Because there's nowhere to like fucking put anything.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, it is a constant source of stress for me.
But the storage areas we have not maximized the storage in them. A couple things that I want to say to you. There's definitely fewer boxes than before. It looks like that. I feel like all of those boxes could be consolidated. There's clothes everywhere.
Well, there's a lot of it's just like clothes that your mom fucking bought and never returned, for God's sake.
I got Nordstrom, which is where it's all from. Their website goes back 9 years. So some of the stuff in there, though, was purchased prior to 9 years ago. So I'm going to have to take it to a Nordstrom. But this is all unworn. So the clothes are taking up a lot of space, but really could be a lot of that stuff could be consolidated and it wouldn't look as bad. That being said, it is bad. So anyway, I went down, met with the auction company. They took like 20 more items, which is great because I think the estate sale is going to mark stuff down like ridiculously. So this, at least they'll get, you know, people can bid on it and stuff, and that'll be good. And then I came back up, trying to avoid traffic, and I got home. And then Elliot and I went to the fish store to get my water tested. And then we went to Menchie's to get some froyo. That's how I say it. And then we went back to the fish store to buy a starfish. Yeah, because I didn't want the starfish to sit in a bag while we got frozen yogurt. And
you didn't want it as a topping?
That's so good, so disgusting. No. Not that it wouldn't taste good. I was turning my stomach. So I just was like, because I've been out all day, I was a little more out prone.
Yeah.
So I was able to go back immediately back out with Elliot.
What's your point to the story?
When you're out, it's easier to stay out.
Oh, sure.
Versus if I had
Should we talk about the accident we saw?
Oh, hang on. If I had come in and changed into my comfy clothes, then I wouldn't have gone back. It would have been harder to go back out. And then 2 more quick things. 1, how do you feel about having a starfish in our life again? I like it, even though I'm
just nervous now. I feel like it's like a ticking clock until that thing disintegrates.
That's the case with all living animals.
Yeah,
but I know
true.
exactly what you mean. And then 2, oh yeah, can I just share? You know how I'll wear the same, I have an array of nightshirts that have pithy sayings on them, like ho 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 prosecco, or like, what's the Chardonnay one? They all have like ridiculous wine sayings on them,
like wine mom shirts.
Yes,
yeah,
that I wear to bed. I got them when I was pregnant. They're comfortable,
just so funny.
They tickle your funny bone.
It's wine o'clock in this house,
stuff like that. Yeah, which is hilarious since I don't drink. But anyway, I was wearing one under my robe. And for a few days now, I've been like, something is scratching me in the shoulder. But I feel like I have a lot of sensory stuff. And now having a kid who's gone through OT, I feel like if they had that back in the day, or if my parents knew about it, like I should have gone to OT. I probably had some sensory processing stuff, because I can't stand when my seams aren't lined up, or like if I'm laying on 2 pillows, if the edge of one of them is like not straight. Like things have to be very particular, or else it'll drive me nuts. So I was like, I think the seam is itching my shoulder, but I kept feeling for it. Like I can't find the area that it's itching, but I'm sure this is just some dumb thing. Long story short, I pulled a thorn out of the sleeve.
Get the fuck out.
Morning. An actual thorn, Daniel. Like
what
from
the fuck?
a rose, like the Seal song. That's a kiss.
Were you sliding through a briar patch? Were you running from some anthropomorphic animal that was chasing you? What was happening? How did you get thorns, honey? This is something everyone needs to know.
It's not me. It's what was my shirt doing.
Oh.
Was it in the
Does your
laundry?
shirt go on adventures in the night?
Probably. Was it in the lawn? Look, I don't know how it got a thorn. I'm just saying there was a thorn, an actual piece of a little sticky poker thing, a pokey sticky, probably from Peter. I'm sure Peter dragged it in and somehow it got into my shoulder. But this is I constantly go to this metaphor. I will think there's something in my eye.
Yeah.
And I will tell myself, you're imagining it.
But then there is something in your eye.
It's just one of those, when your eyelid gets like a tiny little bubble and it feels like something in your eye, but it's on your eye. It's like just your eyelid is irritated. And I always tell myself, you're imagining it.
Were you told a lot as a kid that you're imagining things? Like why do you second guess yourself like that?
Oh my God. Yeah, that's how I was raised. I don't know if it specifically had to do with things in my eye, but I was constantly told my perceptions were wrong, and it turns out they were like always right. But
see, like you were lied to a lot. You
constantly.
Knew, and then you would say, "But isn't this the truth about the truth?" And they would say no.
And then they would go like, "You don't like when things are inconsistent." Yeah, you're right. I don't
like those people who do. All those people who
love when they can't trust reality.
Yeah.
So anyway. And then eventually I'll get up and I'll go look in the mirror and there is an eyelash in my eye and I take it out and it feels 1,000 times better and I feel relief. But I always think about that because I think about how I always want to do the thing where I don't have to take action and I can just like, oh, that's just me being XYZ. That's just me being too sensitive. That's just me imagining
You
it.
want to be that way.
I'm the most comfortable when I don't have to confront something, or my default is, if like, let's say something hurts me.
Yeah.
My default is to go, oh, they didn't mean it. I'm just overreacting. That wasn't what I think it was. There's some other way to see it where it's just a me thing. Everything's fine. And I don't have to actually take action. I don't have to get up and pull the thing out of my eye. And the same with the shirt thing, although that was driving me crazy. But as it turns out, there was something poking me. I wasn't imagining it. The end.
I feel like when it comes to, oh, did this person mean this or did they mean that? Like, there's things like there's a thorn in my shirt or there's something in my eye where it's concrete and you can do something about it.
Right.
Like, you can know. But when it comes to like, oh, did this person just mean to, you know, whatever, insult me or do this, or did they mean this other thing? Are they whatever? Are they being passive aggressive or are they genuinely whatever?
Right.
Most of the time I find that it's better to for your own well-being to just assume the best.
Yeah.
That now there's certain instances where it's important where, so okay, this is actually something I've been thinking a lot about this year, which is like, if the version that is optimistic is believable, that's what you should believe. Because if you're right, you're allowing for the optimistic thing to be possible. If you're wrong, well, you're wrong. But in the alternative, if you're believing the cynical view, you're not really allowing for the optimistic view to be possible. I know this is all abstract, but here's where I'm going. But when you know in your gut. When you know,
yeah.
My new thing is
trust it.
Not only trust it, but it's closed for debate. I'm not interested any longer with debating with people about things that I know to be true.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not going to be stubborn and stupid and pretend I know things that I don't know. Like, I'm still open-minded about a lot of things, most things. But there's just some things where it's like, this is simply a matter of fact. Like,
Right.
I'm just not going to debate this. You can sit there and you can tell me, global warming's a hoax. That's fine. Go ahead and believe that. I'm not debating that with you.
Mm-hmm.
It's not true.
Right.
It's not true.
That's what they want you to think.
The world's not flat. I'm not going to debate it. Sorry. I'm not going to debate it. It's fun to listen to people debate it because
Right.
it's like kind of a crazy debate. But like, I don't have time for that shit. I am not like a government organization. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not a Senate subcommittee. I don't need to debate it. I am just a person. And when it comes to interpersonal stuff, if somebody is telling me something that is clearly not true, I don't have to entertain it. It's kind of freeing because it's just like, it frees up my brain to deal with other shit.
Well, when I was on Corolla for the last handful of months, I had a weird feeling, and I felt depressed, and I was like, I guess it's all of her grief coming back, because that's the only thing that made sense, even though I didn't really feel that it was that. And I noticed like I'm not able to talk on the show as much as I used to. Like, they're not letting me in. But it didn't even occur to me. It did not enter my head once. It should have, but it didn't enter my head that maybe I was going to lose my job, because I thought that I just was like, I'm good, I'm broken in, and I'm making money for the show. Like, there's no way. But that's something where I should have paid attention to my perception, probably. And even though it wasn't, my perception wasn't telling me the right things, but there was a pit in my stomach. And then there's been other instances, or I can think of one main one, where like I was picking up something very strong, and then it has since been confirmed.
You have really good intuition.
Yeah.
I have learned this about you, and you have been raised not to trust your intuition. So you're in this weird situation where you have really, really good intuition that you don't trust. And
It's like, I know, it's like I'm a jaguar that thinks I'm a Yugo.
well, yeah. And so I think that
Is a
it's
Yugo a
this,
bad car? I don't know.
for you, it's got to be this exercise that you
Yes.
practice where you notice a feeling and then like kind of note it and go like, okay, my feeling is this. And then you're going to have to make the choice to trust it as opposed
Right.
to giving in to the learned instinct to doubt it.
Right. I should have said, there's a pokey in my shoulder. I got to take the shirt off and figure out where it's coming from, as opposed to gaslighting myself for like 2 days.
Right.
I didn't wear the shirt continuously for 2 days to 3 days. I only put it on at night, but you get what I'm saying. And if I have a night sweat, then I do wash my nightshirt. Don't worry. Yeah. That's a real discipline.
It is all these things. Once you see a pattern in yourself like that, that's like it becomes like exercise. But the good news is that you only have to exercise it for a certain amount of time. It does start to become a habitual. Like you can break your patterns,
Right.
certain patterns,
Right.
but it requires exercising.
Well,
it.
I had started acting on my intuition in terms of going like, these people give me a horrendous feeling. I get a pit in my stomach around them. I don't want to be around them if I can avoid it. I just didn't realize that they were like actively hating me.
When people, yeah, I think that like
I still thought that, oh, it's a me thing.
you know, I think giving yourself permission to
It was my mom and my sister.
when you recognize that there is a person who's draining you,
Yeah.
that when you're with them, you feel like they're sucking the life out of you, that they are that, or even like just they are treating you like you are an antagonist.
Yeah. Well,
Okay.
that's one of my least favorite things.
So when you are being treated like you are an antagonist,
like the jewelry guy.
then I think you need to give yourself permission to just end it.
Mm-hmm.
There's this feeling that is like, oh, I need to fix it, or I need to show them that I'm not an antagonist. And it's like, I think that's a wasted effort.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, go, fine. Like, it's harder when it's family, I understand, or like a really, really old friend or something. But like, I think even in those situations, let's put it this way. In my family, those people, I don't talk to those people.
The ones that treat you like an antagonist.
The people who are vampires,
Mm-hmm.
I don't talk to the vampires. And they're family. And, you know, one or two of them, I miss who they were to me. And, you know, maybe there'd be some way to like cobble together some variation of but it's like, it's not fucking worth the effort. They will suck more from you, and they get something. A lot of these people get something from wanting to tear you down that you can't do anything about. You cannot change their like how they're wired. You can't change what their motivation is, and how they see you, and what they get from you, and what they get from the dynamic with you. You can try to change it, and oftentimes they will punish you for wanting to change it because that's not what they want.
Right.
It's just fucking wasted effort. So to me, it's just like when I realize I'm in a pattern like that, I just fucking end it.
And sorry, what is the pattern?
That somebody is trying to drain you.
Or see you as an antagonist.
They see you as an antagonist, and oftentimes along with that is an ongoing effort to suck your life energy out of you and to tear you down, to try to see you fall, to like, there's often that other side of it, which is like,
they are an antagonist. Like
they actually are the antagonist.
Right.
And it's like
they're not rooting
you
for
can lock horns, or you could try to change the way they see you. This is often what I would do. Is like, no, I'm not that. Like, I'm actually this good person, or I'm actually like, I do care about you. Or but it just becomes a never ending cycle of trying to prove yourself to someone who's never going to fucking see it, because that is not the play that they have written. That is not the role for you.
Well,
so just don't fucking do it.
I think you spit on the microphone a little bit.
Sorry.
There's a little
boop.
I saw something that I thought was quite sage on TikTok. This one was like, people who have a victim mindset will cast you in the role of villain.
That's right.
Because that's how they see the world.
The example I always think about is when I was in 7th grade, and I was a good kid.
Yeah.
I was like a really well-behaved, like angelic, perfect fucking kid. And, but I was like a little bit of a class clown. I like to goof around.
Is this about Senora Brenna?
Yes, because it was the craziest thing. It was an example of somebody seeing me differently, like holding up a mirror to me that was like a picture of someone else.
Yeah.
And saying, this is you. And you're like, that's not fucking me.
Yeah.
And what's interesting to me about that was how I ended up behaving like the thing she saw me as. So like she somehow like decided I was this problem child in the class. And she was like treating me that way. And eventually I was just like, fine, fuck you. I am then. And I would like, and
what was the thing you wrote on the test to piss her off?
Because it was Spanish class. And I just at a certain point just said, no matter what I'm doing in this class, I'm not getting, so fuck it. I refused to learn it at a certain point.
You'll show her.
But there was nothing I could do. I learned years later, from her assistant that no matter what grade I got, she would put down a D or an F. Like she was
awful.
like, no, she was fucking corrupt. Like but I wrote on a test. So there was a picture of a boy, and it said, describe Juan using your vocabulary. And so I colored him blue, and I said, Juan es azul. And I did other things. I would just alter the picture according to the words I knew. And my mom, I think, saved the test because Senora Brenna like broke the tip of 3 felt tip pens writing an F. She just like, she pressed it so fucking hard. You could see it like snap, like fucking snapped off. And I want to frame that fucking thing because fuck you. And the thing is, like, that was me becoming the thing.
Right.
And so like, she wanted me to be that. I became that. Mm-hmm. And the better thing to do would have been to just move. Just change classes. Yeah, change classes. Like, you're not going to convince her that you're a good kid. You're either going to become the thing, or she's going to, you know what I mean? It's pointless.
Forget it, Jake. It's Chinatown.
It is.
Is it forget it, Jake? What is it? Something, Jake. It's Chinatown.
Yeah.
Jake. It's Chinatown.
Chinatown, Jake. Chinatown is gonna be Chinatown.
Yeah, Chinatown be Chinatownin', Jake. I think is what it is.
Anyway, I feel strongly about this stuff, obviously.
I do too.
I just think we waste a lot of time trying to convince people that we're someone, and it's not. Bottom line, you don't owe it to anyone to prove yourself to them. Does that make sense? It does. Don't waste your time trying to prove your character to people if
who are committed to seeing you.
Yes, who have it. Yes, who want to see you. Just fucking let them. That's my new book. Let them.
Oh my god.
Let them think.
Said that.
Yeah.
It might surprise you to know, or it might not surprise you at all. I have a lot of saved inspirational, screen grabs and things in my phone. And something that I find myself saving over and over again is stuff about like, you don't have to explain yourself.
No.
Because I think that I am constantly wanting to explain myself. It's interesting now that my parents have decided not to be alive. I don't know if they decided.
They up and died.
They up and died. I wonder if that's lessened in me because they were the original two that I wanted to see me clearly.
It's the worst when a parent sees you that way. It's so you know.
So I wonder if I'm less invested in it now that like that story's done.
Interesting.
Yeah. You couldn't possibly understand because you still have living parents. I have a wisdom you won't have for a while, but eventually you'll get it.
It's true. I definitely, it's so much harder when it's a parent or even a sibling or someone who's known you for a long time because like.
Yeah, but then all of a sudden you see the person in a new light and you're like, oh, you never saw me.
Right.
I guess.
That feeling of like you grow up and you move to another city and you're able to just be yourself and you figure out who you are and then you go back home and they're like not seeing you as you are but seeing this version of you that they thought you were. I think that's a really common frustration for people.
Remember when my parents were going to serve us duck for Christmas?
Yeah, like
there's multiple animals I don't eat, but one of the more like I don't eat duck.
Yeah.
I do not. Alison, she doesn't eat duck. I just don't eat duck because I had pet ducks. My parents bought the pet ducks for me. They raised them with me.
They were there.
Yeah, they were there. By the way, those were not food ducks or anything, but like I don't.
The coyotes
eat duck.
disagreed.
Yeah. So, but my dad liked peking duck, and you know, duck is not that common a thing, but it is a poultry that people eat. Allison doesn't.
Right.
And then we went down, you and me, for Christmas one year, and it was like, oh, what are we having? We're having duck. I'm like, you know, I don't eat
Hi,
duck,
my name's
right?
Alison.
Hi, nice to meet you.
Yeah.
And then I think my mom was like, what did she say? Oh, we have some leftover salmon. Or you could make a salad. I feel like there wasn't any actual like, oh my God, I forgot. It was so weird.
Yeah.
I feel like what that moment requires is an, oh my God, you're right, I forgot. And I didn't, you never got, there was never any sort of satisfying acknowledgement of anything from my parents, with the exception occasionally my dad said things that did make me feel better. You know, he would say like, I think I owe you an apology. Or he actually said that he feels like he was too overprotective growing up and made us anxious. And like that was like, that's nice to hear because you were.
Yeah, I mean, I think your dad was more capable of.
He was capable of introspection and he wanted.
And empathy.
Right. He was capable of introspection and empathy. And I still don't know whether he saw me correctly from time to time or if he just was really good at flattery. So I liked the version of me that he fed back to me. It was very inconsistent and conditional with him. So there were definitely times where it felt very unfair and he would rage and stuff. But I did at times feel like this is a person who gets me, sees me, and loves me. Yeah. And I never felt that way with my mom. Although I will say some of my anger at her has lessened a bit because some new info about the way some things have gone down changed. So I maybe don't think that she, I thought she had said fuck you on her way out, and it turns out that she didn't. She just considered it.
Well, she had said fuck you a year before and then changed her mind a little.
I think she changed. Yeah, I think she changed her mind. So, yeah.
Yeah. What else is there to say about all that?
I actually think I can be open about that. It appeared, I was told that she had left a chunk of money to one sibling, which I know is because she was mad at. If she had done that, it was because she was mad at me.
Well, she had initially said she was going to leave it to.
She initially said she was leaving it to both of us. Yeah. And then after she died, I was informed by this sibling in question that, oh, by the way, this money might have been left to me. And this person isn't acknowledging that it was a fuck you to me, but I know very well that it was, because it's very out of character for my mom to do something like that.
And you know that at the time they were mad at you.
Yes. But then it turned out that she didn't actually do this. But we found some paperwork indicating that she had started the process of doing this a year before she died. And then the bank had written back to her and said, we need more, like you feel that you didn't send the whole form. You only sent like one page. We need the whole form. And they never heard back from her. So it's questionable how to interpret that. My interpretation is, but I don't want to be lying to myself, but my interpretation is she was conflicted about it. Like she knew that this would be a hugely hurtful to me. And even though she was angry, I don't think she wanted to go that far. And also, I think her feelings were changing as the year went on. She was less mad at me. She was more mad at the other person. So I think it makes sense that she just like didn't follow through. There's also, you could also look at that and go, oh yeah, no, she intended to do it. She just didn't get around to it. So it just depends how you want to see it. But I feel a little bit less. I mean, I feel like there's an argument for being angry that she would even consider it. But I think since she knew she didn't do it and didn't follow up on it, I think she essentially didn't do it.
Yeah, and she wasn't expecting to die so soon.
Right.
She didn't think she was going to only have another year to live, so.
Right. It was something done in a fit of anger, but not even done all the way.
Yeah, I think she had second thoughts about it, and then
even at the time that prevented her from doing it correctly.
She didn't do it correctly, and then when she was informed that she didn't do it correctly, she didn't fix it because it was like, oh, I don't really want to do this.
Yeah.
Or maybe I want more time to think about it or something.
Right. There's no rush.
I'm
not dying.
I'm not going to be dying this Christmas.
And then she just was a horrendous miscalculation across the board.
Yeah. Well. Yeah, it's been a hell of a year, huh? God damn.
Yeah.
So much fucking going on.
You know, one of my, as you well know, I am on Patreon. And there's a level, the confidant level, where I text people a daily update and I also interact with them. And one of the confidants, that's what I call the people at that level, wrote back and was like, usually settling an estate takes a year. You are making such good progress.
I mean,
that's what Vita had told us. It takes a year as well.
When we first started to try to wrap our heads around what was ahead
involved, yeah.
It did feel like it was going to be like a year and a half,
yeah.
And I think I was just like telling you, look, pedal to the fucking metal. Well, partly because, you know, not to make it political, I'm not really trying to, but there's just so much uncertainty right now, you know, in terms of all the things, you know, stocks and housing markets and like, who the fuck knows? I mean, we're only in May right now. Like, right. Who the fuck knows what's going to happen, where things are going to be in September. And that risk, that element of risk is scary.
Well, I remember when we sat down with our first, we have a second attorney, but we sat down with our first attorney. And he said that, you know, it's standard that nothing happened, no disbursement of funds are made for 120 days. And we were kind of like, I forget, I can't remember the order of questions, but essentially he's like, you, ideally by the end of the 120 days, the house is sold. And so you're ready to like, disperse that. And we were like, what? Like that seems that you don't understand, like that it will be impossible for us to have sold the house in that amount of time. Like, what if we're not ready? And then he's like, well, that'd be a breach of your fiduciary duty.
But this lawyer, he was
an asshole.
And
a bad lawyer. Here's the thing. Other lawyers will say you don't sell within that 120 days. Like, different lawyers have very different opinions about whether it's the 120 days is a trust contest period. Different lawyers have different opinions about whether a house should be sold in that time or not. As it turns out, we are going to be listing just a few days after, just based on the time. But the point is, when we sat down with him, the idea that we would be ready to list near the end of May in January, it seemed insurmountable. Like, there's no way. So it's amazing that we are here.
Well, the irony is that, like, now for the first time, I'm starting to wonder if maybe I'm still committed. I still think you're making the right choice here to list it then, but like, just seeing news reports, I'm like, well, maybe we should hold on to it for a little bit.
You realize that every week we stay in that house, we owe so much in property taxes.
Right. No, I'm not saying it's at the point where, but it's like if by the end of the month, there are no buyers because
if we list it and we don't like the offers we're getting or we're not getting offers, then our hand is forced.
I just don't know, like, how much does it hurt you to have previously listed it?
Oh.
But
I don't know. I doubt that. Well, look, our realtor is pretty good with this stuff. And she's saying that, like, miraculously, the market in this area is still strong.
Yeah. I mean, it'll be just a huge relief when all of this is behind you.
Yes.
And you can just, like...
be so happy that I can... The funny thing is, hopefully this will all be done, and then I have my hysterectomy. Which a little bit, I'm like, is that how I want to celebrate the end of this? Well, I mean, the truth is,
it's traditional way of celebrating.
It's not going to be done. We're still going to be dealing with this stuff, but I think at that point it'll be mostly paperwork, so I don't have to like schlep my body around. But part of me is like, is that really what I want to do with the weeks following this? Be recovering from a hysterectomy, but I also think like it just sort of needs to happen, and the timing works out, and it's when your mom can be here to help. So be it. Yeah. Also, I hate hot weather, so I'm not going to be missing out on outdoor activities.
It's going to be a hot summer.
On that note, I'd like to remind everyone I'm on Patreon, and Substack. Thank you for your direct support of the show. It is how I keep it going. And I also would like to thank you for listening. Thank you for listening. I love you. You matter. Goodbye.
Hey, do you know about the Alison Rosen show?